Good evening. Welcome to CLAT PATH mock discussion series. Today we will discuss mock number 1 and I will discuss logical reasoning section. So we will start now. So first we'll start with passage number 1. So passage number 1 talks about a guy who is talking about his visiting to a museum, and if you consider this paragraph, there are like this passage, there are like 4 or 5 paragraphs in this passage, and we will discuss one by one the paragraphs, then we will discuss the questions. So talking about paragraph 1, in paragraph 1 a person is simply talking about his visiting of a particular cafe in which there is a museum. In second paragraph the same person says what are the how the types of visitor, how many types of visitor are visiting that particular museum and how they appear while visiting the museum. And in third paragraph he is talking about the various ways a particular visitor visits a museum and what he does in that particular museum while he visits, what he does with the artworks that he sees in the museum, how does he feel about those artwork. These are the things which are being discussed in paragraph number 3, and paragraph number 4 concludes the entire context of this paragraph, concluding the fact that what are the type of interaction, what are the ways a particular person interact with art in a particular museum while he visits, and what are the things he search for in a particular art, what are the kind of activities he do while he sees a art. Like there can be a person who while seeing a particular art try to interact with that particular by taking selfies, or there can be some kind of person who would like to just see the texture of that particular art, and there can be various ways a person sees a art. And there can be few people who just they don't understand art, they just go there and take selfies with that particular just to look good with that particular art. So this is the entire context, the entire crux of this particular passage number 1. Now we will discuss the question one by one and you will understand better while I discuss all the options. Now let's start with question number 1. Question number 1 says which of the following statement can be inferred about the visitor of the museum. Like I say, there are various type of visitor. They might have different type of choices while they visit a museum to see particular kind of art. So according to the question, if you consider all these 3 points, like point number 1, they are saying they take photos of art to boost later. In point number 2, it states that they are never of the same kind. In point number 3, it states that there is always some willing to overlook the rule. So first and foremost thing, while solving this kind of question, what we should do, if we have understood the passage, we first try and eliminate those options which can be ruled out directly. So if you consider this point number 3, so point number 3 states that there are always some people who overlook the rules. They are, and point number 2 states they are never of the same kind, and point number 1 states they take photos of art to boost later. So point number 1, so point noted because it is not at all stated in the passage. But while we considered point number 2, they are never of the same kind. So a visitor while visits a museum, they are not of the same type. There are different type of visitor who visits the museum. They have different tastes, they have different choices. The visitor, one visitor likes certain kind of art, another visitor can like different kind of art. So these are the things, this can be directly inferred from the passage. So point 2 will be correct. And if we talk about point number 3, there is always someone willing to overlook the rules. So point number 3 can be inferred from a particular point which I will highlight right now. Let me search the options. Just wait a second. Yes, there is a line. See this particular line in last paragraph, it says, and though discouraged to touch the art, some invariably wants to feel its texture. So what you can infer from this particular line, that even if there is a direction that a visitor is directed not to touch a particular precious kind of art, but even though he just out of curiosity, how does it feel, he just try and touch those art and try to see how it feels. So first thing, according to the rule, he is not allowed to do so, but even he do so just to satisfy his curiosity. So from this particular line we can infer this: there are always someone willing to overlook the rules. So for question number 1, both 2 and 3 can be inferred. Both 2 and 3 can be inferred without any doubt. So C will be your correct answer. Moving on to next question. Second question is, what is the author's point of view with respect to the second paragraph? So if we correctly like if you move to paragraph number 2, and if you read it very carefully, and according to this second paragraph, this paragraph, if you read carefully, and if we discuss this question, there are points which can be inferred from this. So from second paragraph, the point 1 states museums are incomplete without the visitor, and point number 2 states photography is the best medium of interaction with the art, and point number 3, visitor interacting with the art itself is an art itself. So like I said earlier, while you answer this kind of question, please try and eliminate those options which can be directly means not considered, like to be precise, the points which cannot be directly inferred or which cannot be directly implicit from that particular paragraph. So if we read paragraph 2 carefully, we cannot say that visitor interacting with the art is an art in itself. You cannot say this, because if a visitor visits a museum to see a particular kind of art, it is not an art. It can be activity, it can be a hobby, it can be a choice, it can be a kind of amusement, but according to paragraph 2, it cannot be an art in itself. But if you read second paragraph carefully, you can say that museum are incomplete without the visitors, because if there is a museum, there are certain kind of artwork placed there. So that artwork is for whom? Obviously those artwork are for visitors who will go and visit the museum, see and appreciate those arts. So obviously point 1 can be said from second paragraph, and point number 2 says photograph is the best medium of interaction with the art. Yes, according to this paragraph, you can say that while you go and visit a particular museum, see those art, and you try and like take photograph of that particular art, which means you try to take a memoir of that particular art and to archive that, so that in future if you're kind of you cannot go and visit the museum, for that matter you can see that later, so that your satisfaction and curiosity can be satisfied. So point number 1 and 2 can be said from second paragraph. So option D will be your correct answer. Right, now moving on to next question. Question number 69. What does the author indicate when they quote that perhaps people photograph to see and understand themselves better? So this particular point is mentioned in third paragraph, right? So please let's read once again this point from the third paragraph. Third paragraph states that I was reminded of concluding line from the poem by Margaret Atwood. This is a photograph of me, where she says, but if you look long enough, you will be able to see me. So from these lines, a particular point is being highlighted. Perhaps people photograph to see and understand themselves better. So from this particular line, question is being asked that what does the author want to indicate? Like, see, so once again, to solve this question, we will try and eliminate option. So option number A states photographs allow people to view themselves from outsider point of view. So this point cannot be eliminated directly, because it can definitely be considered if you say perhaps people photograph to see and understand themselves better from their point of view, from other point of view, and this cannot be eliminated, option number A. So considering option number B, photograph must always be self-portrait. So this cannot be indicated from this particular line. So option number B is like wrong. And moving on to next option, photograph are the medium of art yet to get proper recognition. So this can be like, if you can simply analyze this particular paragraph, and from this line you cannot say that photograph are a medium of art yet to get proper recognition, because if you read the entire passage, for the art at the museum or at any place, from this paragraph you cannot say that it has not get any recognition, because you see the timeline which is being discussed in this passage is a time of lockdown, corona period. People are coming in the museum with the mask, with the following social and corona protocols while they visit their museum. So you cannot say that it has not got any recognition, because even if there is a restriction for gathering of people, and you cannot gather more than 10-20 people, even though people are visiting these public places. So it has definitely got a proper recognition. That's why people are visiting the museum even if there is a lockdown and there is a crisis in a country. So point C cannot be said from this particular points. So question talking about option number D, there is no rhyme or reason to why people take photos of art installation. Yes, this also cannot be said, because there is obviously a rhyme, there is obviously a synchronization between people and the art who take photograph, because simply one point can be inferred if you take a particular photograph of a certain thing. So you will do only when you feel kind of association with that particular thing, then only you will take photograph of that particular thing. So option number B and C should be directly eliminated for this particular question. So option A will be your answer. Moving on to next question. Question number 70. Given below is a possible inference that can be drawn from the fact stated in the last paragraph. You have to examine the inference in context of the passage and decide upon its degree of truth or falsity. Art is incomplete without anyone to engage with it. You have to consider this line. Once again, I am reading the question. Given below is a possible inference. There are 4 options. These are the possible inferences that can be drawn from the facts that are stated in the last paragraph. So to answer this question, you will have to read the last paragraph, and what they are asking, you have to examine the inference in the context of the passage and decide upon its degree of truth or falsity. So you have to decide to what extent that particular point is true and to what extent that particular point is false. And a specific line is being mentioned here: art is incomplete without anyone to engage with it. So if you consider this particular line with respect to the last paragraph, you can definitely eliminate option number A, B and C. So see, option number C says the data are inadequate. You cannot say this, because there are certain fake facts mentioned in the last paragraph. So you cannot say it is definitely true. You cannot even say that this is probably true. But if you read this particular paragraph, last one, and you consider those facts with respect to entire passage, you can definitely say that these are the facts which can be probably false. There are chances this might be true, but you cannot definitely say. So correct answer for this question will be option number D, which is probably false. Now moving on to last question. Which of these present a contrast to the following sentence as mentioned in paragraph 3. So this particular line, this entire line is mentioned in the paragraph 3, sorry, which is in italics. You have to read that particular line and you have to consider all the given option and you have to answer which of these four are in contrast of that particular thing, like contradictory to that particular thing. And what is that particular line? That particular line is such is the inventiveness of an individual Marriott poses that the creator of artwork could not have imagined that her work could be seen or captured from so many angles. Like see, in paragraph 3 there are certain things which is being mentioned in the like very clearly. It states that according to the passage, paragraph 3, it states that while people visit the museum, they see a particular art with a different point of view. Like certain people who have knowledge of a particular art, those who understand art, what a art is, what amount of work is required to create a particular art, they will go there and try and understand the amount of hard work put into create a particular art, and if that art is worth it, they will definitely appreciate those art in critical and artistic point of view. But there are certain kind of people who go and visit, according to passage 3, paragraph 3, there are certain kind of people who just go for their fun, go there for fun. They did not understand what amount of work and what amount of hard work is required to create a particular art. They just go for amusement, for one to spend quality time. So there are different kind of people who go there. So those who understand art, they will simply understand that particular, and it is not necessary that they will take photograph of that particular art, take a selfie with those art. It is not necessary. So those and there are kind of people who go there for fun. They will definitely take their selfies with those artworks and different kind of selfies with those artwork. So like see, if a person goes there, if a visitor goes there and he takes a selfie at a particular art, what you will see first? You will see that person first. So in that photograph, art is not the primary thing. That primary thing is that particular person, and he will take selfie and kind of photograph with different angles, which can be for fun, which can be only for fun, and which is not for the appreciation point of view of that particular art and that particular artist. So the kind of photograph, the kind of photos the different kind of visitor take there with that particular art, that thing cannot even be imagined by those who have created the art, that this kind of artistic thing can be done with those art. So this is being discussed in passage 1 of paragraph 3. So from that point, which of the following is contrast of that particular point of view? So again we will do the same, we will try and eliminate the options. Okay, so considering option number A, an artist expect their art to be consumed in multiple forms. So this is in line with this particular passage, and obviously an artist, if he creates a art, he definitely expect that his art should be appreciated. And if a particular art is seen with different views and different viewpoints, amusement and other, he will definitely feel happy for that. And if art is seen from different angle, he is obviously happy. So option number E is in line with this particular sentence. So considering option number B, if we read, an individual's creativity often derails from truly enjoying the art. So if you understand this point, it is not in line with, not consistent with this particular line, because if we say that option number A is correct and an artist expect that his art should be appreciated in different ways and it should be considered with multiple point of view, and if we say that an individual's creativity often derails them from truly enjoying this art, this is in contrast. Because if an individual is creative with a particular kind of art and he is not like disrupting or destroying that particular art and creating different type of viewpoint for that particular art, it cannot derail from enjoying him. So option number B is obviously in contrast with the above mentioned point. So for this question number 71, this option number B is in contrast, and this will be your correct answer, option number B. Considering option number C and D, what C states that individual often surprise the creator with their inventiveness. The same thing, it is a restatement. You can in precise manner, if you consider this particular point, you can restate the same in a way that individuals often surprise the creator with their inventiveness. The kind of photograph they take, the way they take those photographs, the way they treat those artwork, it obviously surprise the artist who have created that particular art. So option number C is also in line with this particular thing. Now moving on to the last option, capturing an art is not limited by any boundaries. Yes, this is also in line, because if there would have been any boundary for capturing a particular art, all the visitors who visit museum to see a particular art, he or she cannot see those art, or cannot take photograph of that particular art with different angles, and he cannot be creative with those particular art. So this is also true, and also it consistent with the above mentioned line. So A, C and D is consistent, or you can say is synonymous with the above mentioned point. So option number B is your answer, because B is in contrast with this particular point. So B is the correct answer. So that's it for passage number 1. Those who have subscribed this particular mock, they will definitely get access of this, and those who haven't subscribed yet, below there is a link. Please go and visit that particular link and follow the instruction to get regular updates. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I think stay tuned for the overall discussion of this mock in next video. Stay tuned. Thank you.